I'll now call this chamber to order. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Township of East Brunswick Council meeting for January 27th, 2025. Everyone please rise as we salute our flag and our nation. Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection and remembrance of International Holocaust Remembrance Day for the protection of human rights and dignity. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Township Clerk, please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Councilwoman Winston.
Here.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Here.
And Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Criscuolo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Anthony Iacoca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Council, you have before you Resolution 24-64, adopting our meeting minutes from our January 6th, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Is there a need for a correction or clarification on these minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Council, you have a resolution of recognition, 25-65. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Unanimous, McAvoy. Dr. Friedman? Resolution 25-65. Resolution honoring Ken Friedman and his retirement from the Advisory Health Council. Whereas it is important for a community to recognize and honor citizens who selflessly give of their time and themselves to improve the quality of life for others, as well as to acknowledge the outstanding and noteworthy achievement of those citizens that go above and beyond. And whereas Dr. Friedman is the founder and director of Friedman Chiropractic in East Brunswick since 1979, and aside from being an entrepreneur and providing health services to our community, he's also the creator and host of Wellness Spotlight, an award-winning health and wellness program airing on EBTV since 2008. He also offers wellness programs to businesses, clubs, and organizations such as the popular Stress Management for Successful Living. And whereas Dr. Friedman serves as a member of the East Brunswick Regional Chamber of Commerce, a member of the East Brunswick Library Board of Trustees, and president of the Briar Hill at Colonial Oaks Condominium Association. And whereas Dr. Friedman has been a member of the East Brunswick Advisory Health Council since 1992 and served from 1994 from 1994 to 2002 as their president. Whereas, upon 30 years of service to the Health Advisory Council, Dr. Friedman retired effective December 31st, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the town council of the Township of East Brunswick that they hereby extend their sincere and grateful appreciation to Dr. Ken Friedman for his 30 years of dedication and outstanding service to the East Brunswick Advisory Health Council. And on behalf of a grateful community, we hereby commend him for his lifelong work towards improving the quality of our life within our community and for proudly representing East Brunswick in all he has done and all he continues to do. Ken, this is a special note from the mayor. Ken, you are a true champion for East Brunswick Township, and we thank you for your unwavering dedication and support to our community.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. It's freezing cold outside, but my heart is so warm right now. Thank you so much, Mayor Cohen, Council President McAvoy, members of the Town Council here, and the other 4 mayors and Town Council administrations that I have worked with over the 33 years that I have been on the Advisory Health Council and about 30 years as its president. You know, I don't see this as the end. I see it as just the beginning. One of my favorite stories and what compels me to do what I do, and forgive me if you've heard it, but I'd just like to share it with you if you can give me a few minutes. A man goes to sleep and has a dream. And in his dream, he goes to heaven. And in heaven, it looks like a big catering hall with beautiful tables and chandeliers and the finest china and crystal, beautiful silverware. And on the tables is delicious food. And everybody's sitting around and they're having a good time. And one of the things that he noticed was the utensils were about 3 feet long. After he leaves heaven, he goes all the way down below. And he sees a beautiful catering hall with tables appointed the same way, and utensils that are 3 feet long, and delicious food. And yet the people are hungry and starving and crying. And he asks someone who's in charge, you know, I've just been to heaven, and now I'm in hell, and I can't understand what the difference is. And the reply was, well, in hell, the only thing that everybody worried about was how to feed one another, and they couldn't reach their mouths. But in heaven, they learned how to feed one another. So I consider it a privilege and an honor to be of service to my community. I'd like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do that for over 30 years. I want to thank my family and show them my appreciation for their understanding for the time that I may have missed being with them in serving the town. And I'd like to continue as a member of the board of the Chamber of Commerce and serving on the board of the library, and also serving with other members of the Advisory Health Council should they ever need to consult with me going in the future. Thank you again for this beautiful honor and this sentiment. And good night.
Mayor Cohn?
I know that it was just a couple of months ago that we had a recognition ceremony for all of the members who are parts of our boards and commissions throughout the township. And we're very lucky because we have a lot of people who give of their time to come and give back to the community in a host of different ways. But one of the things that we did at that last get-together was to recognize those individuals who had put in over 25 years of service to the township. And I know you, Dr. Friedman, were one of those that was a recipient as well. I think that just says a lot about our community, that there are people like yourselves, and you are not the only one, who have continued to give back to their community. And they're not looking for any recognition. They're not looking to get a prize. They're not looking even necessarily to get recognized like you were this evening. They're doing it just like your story, because the role that we should all have is to be able to help do the best we can to provide for those that can't do it for themselves. And I know that you've taken your role on the Health Advisory Committee extremely seriously and provided some unbelievable amount of programming that the community has all benefited from. The role a little bit of the Health Advisory Council changed a little bit now that the mayor is a doctor himself, so didn't really need the advice on handling or understanding medical issues. But no one person can ever do it alone. And you've, my friend, shouldered a large portion of that burden. And so on behalf of the entire township, please accept our congratulations and appreciation for the work and time you've given to East Brunswick.
Thank you.
At this point, it gives me great honor to introduce our mayor, Dr. Brad Cohn, to deliver his 2025 State of the Township Address. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, sir. Okey doke. Good evening, everybody. First, I want to thank Council President for recognizing that it is Holocaust Remembrance Day today. If we were, and for the moment of silence that you gave in recognition of that, if we were to take a moment of silence for the over 6 million Jews that were killed in the Holocaust, we wouldn't be able to start my speech for another 11 and a half years. So let's put that in perspective. But we're here today to talk about the township. If you were to actually ask ChatGPT what the role of municipal government was, you would get the following response. The core role of municipal government is to provide services and promote the well-being of its residents. Not bad. Except that AI is only capable of looking at the present and at the past. It has no capacity for vision, innovation, creativity, tools that one would need to provide direction for our future. Leaders in a community must have vision in order to guide a community forward responsibly. JFK actually once said that change is the law of life, and those that only look to the past and the present are certain to miss the future. As I said earlier and many times, there is a buzz going around the state about East Brunswick and how we are looking forward and responding to the needs of a 21st century economy and lifestyle. Our redevelopment projects have helped to reinvigorate a commercial corridor that once lay barren, blighted, and neglected. In the year ahead, expect the opening of Vermella, the expansion of Legacy Place, the opening of our municipal ice rinks and a fully lit cricket field, the opening of scores of exciting new businesses, restaurants, and services, both on and off the Route 18 corridor. Eyes are also focused on redevelopment plans for Edgeboro Road and the Brunswick Square Mall, areas that have remained relatively untouched for half a century. Regarding the core services and the promotion of well-being, well, we are blessed with a professional staff that takes their jobs very seriously. Several of them are here this evening. I'd like to point out our business administrator, Joe Criscuolo, our assistant, Tracy Ranzio, Jennifer Stetson, Tamar Lawful, that work with me in administration. But as a township, we've adopted a customer-centric philosophy. Our staff is laser-focused on making East Brunswick the best place to live, raise a family, and operate a business. So let's take our tour of the township's accomplishments in 2024 and the goals for 2025. In the area of finance and under the leadership of Angel Albanese, I'm happy to report that the township still holds a AA+ rating from Moody's. This is due to our low debt ratio, 99% collection ratio, healthy fund balance, and financially sound redevelopment plans. This rating has allowed the township to finance at an extremely low cost. Currently, the township can secure bonds and notes at interest rates in the mid to low 3% range. Previous financing of our older notes are locked in at interest rates that range from 1.16 to 1.86%. Currently, our total municipal debt stands at $85.5 million, but this is exclusive of $23.1 million in Board of Ed debt and $6.2 million in Fire District debt that we hold for them, as they would never have been able to borrow at our low interest rates. This continues to save taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars every year. And while the $85.5 million is a number that must be reported to the state and our rating agencies, to derive the actual debt, you must deduct $40.3 million in approved but not issued bonds for the ice rinks and $6.8 million in approved but not issued debt for our road improvements in 2025. This will give the township an actual current debt of $38.4 million, but even at the $85.5 million that we must report to the state, it puts us at a 0.907 net debt as a percentage of equalized value, one of the lowest in the state. Over the past year, the department has adopted ACH payments for taxes, water, and sewer. They've started the program Set It and Forget It, which allows residents to set auto payments each quarter, and it's been widely accepted even among seniors. The department's received over $4.4 million in grants last year, and in the 8 years as your mayor, the township has surpassed $28 million in grants, money that would otherwise have come out of property taxes. Our tax assessor, Frank Colon, reports that in 2024, we added 249 assessments, which account for $15 million in new ratables. There were 857 new deeds and 53 tax appeals to either the county or the state. But the data to arrive at these assessments are 40 years old, but more about that later. Regarding economic development, our economic development officer, Robert Zuckerman, has been everywhere in the township. With his assistance, the East Brunswick has ushered in almost 90 new businesses or business expansions this past year. These cover a wide range of sectors, all pointing to the strength of our appeal to the business community. So here we go, in no order, and I'm sorry if I missed somebody. The Asian Market, Umi, Clove Garden, several bubble tea restaurants or locations, Duck Donuts, Cozy Cup Coffee, Palmera's, finally, toy and collectible card shops and stores, the redesign of Dick's, which now includes an entire section for ice hockey, tech companies such as HCL Tech and Helix Wireless, Robert Wood Johnson Children's Hospital outpatient facility at the old Kmart building, Floor and Decor, children's entertainment and daycare centers, and much more. As for 2025, expect Cava, a swim school, and Rita's Ices at the Mid-State Mall, Chick-fil-A, retail at Legacy Place, which will include a pizza shop, coffee shop, nail salon, and others. And the Brunswick Square Mall is also planning some very exciting changes that will be sure to meet the needs that East Brunswick residents have been requesting for years. Our East Brunswick Regional Chamber of Commerce has continued to flourish. There were 70 new companies that came in this past year, bringing them up to over 315 members. Our film task force, you could clap for that. Our film task force is waiting for the township to be officially designated as film ready. This opens the township to the possibility of hosting film and media sets or shoots that would be a boom to our area businesses. Our sister city in Yavne, Israel, engaged in a joint program with East Brunswick High School students and Yavne High School students to discuss similarities and differences between life in each country. We are looking to use this as a starting point to have joint projects that are centered on areas such as redevelopment, community planning, AI, technology, and other areas that are relevant to youth regardless of their country of origin. We look forward to exploring areas such as business and community engagement with township officials and our businesses. In the area of public safety, most folks place a high priority on safety and security. They should. Under the leadership of Chief Frank Lasacco, you could be assured that East Brunswick remains one of the safest towns in the state. The police department is divided into 3 divisions. There's operations, which is the largest and is comprised of the patrol section and traffic safety. There's the investigative division, which includes the detective bureau, the juvenile bureau, school resource officer, evidence, custodians, and the community response unit. And finally, there's the administration division, which oversees body-worn cameras, internal affairs, records, IT, the police training facility, and community policing. Notable achievements and plans going forward include the fact that the department logged in over 75,000 calls this past year. Think about that. That is over 200 calls per day. We adopted and have started to use and increase our use of technology, including our drone program. And no, we were not the blame for the recent drone attacks that occurred all over New Jersey. We adopted the Blue Care program designed to allow police to work with the courts and attorneys for those involved in drug addiction. Credit is given for counseling and it's used towards reduction in charges. We hired 3 new police officers. 1 is already working. The other 2 are in Cape May training and completing their 6-month training. We increased participation and programs that provided to the township through our community policing unit. This includes 3rd grade tours, the Junior Police Academy, Neighborhood Watch programs, Citizens Police Academy, active shooter training, which we now included our area businesses such as the Brunswick Square Mall, in addition to the work that they do regularly with our public schools and houses of worship. They participated and began participating in the Arrive Together program, which pairs East Brunswick trained officers in crisis intervention with mental health screening specialists to respond to calls where an individual is experiencing a mental health crisis. The unit also partnered with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office to be part of their special needs registry. This allows families to register loved ones with special needs so that police can be aware of such individuals when responding to calls or encounters. A big shout out to John Kosick for his over 40 years in the township, coordinating the Office of Emergency Management. He oversees emergency management for almost all township large events, works directly with security in our public schools, houses of worship, businesses, and community organizations. He is the person I rely on most to be certain that I am never that mayor that has to answer a reporter by saying that I never thought that it could happen here. For Parks and Recreation, under the direction of Michael Reisner, they had a banner year. And this is not possible without the help of a very devoted and talented staff, several of whom were recognized this past year by professional organizations in the recreation industry. Notably, John Roche received the Water Park Association Safety Award and was recognized and awarded by the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association as the Professional of the Year. Ashley Falcoon also recognized and awarded by the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association as being one of the top 30 professionals under the age of 30. Marissa Costco was recognized by the Parks and Recreation Association, got an award for Social Media Campaign of the Year for our Winter Wonderland program this past holiday season. Let's see, who else? Caitlin Kehoe got her certification as a National Inclusion Project Specialist, and Ryan Murphy got his certification by the National Association of Youth Sports as a Youth Sports Administrator. So please give these professionals a round of applause because you're only as good. We have high standards here, and they have never let us down. As far as achievements, working in conjunction with engineering, the East Brunswick Ice Arena design, bids, awarding of contracts, and construction all began in 2024. Project is actually ahead of schedule and under budget. How often do you hear that? And we could say that if we stay on schedule, we expect the opening for the rinks to be this October. Additionally, we added a solar roof to the project, which will significantly reduce our energy costs and is consistent with the township's long-time commitment to sustainability. We received a $750,000 Green Acres grant for an inclusive playground at Lenape Park. That work will begin this spring. We saw the establishment of the East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra, the only municipal orchestra in the state. Department also assisted VFW Post 33 in hosting the Vietnam Traveling Wall this past summer. They designed and constructed the first fully lit cricket field in the state. Expect that also to open in the spring. They repaired Washington Heights Playground, paid for by a New Jersey Department of Community Affairs grant. The department planted 106 tree and park trees throughout the township. Bicentennial Park tennis courts were resurfaced. They launched the East Brunswick Parks and Recreation app, making it easier for individuals and families to register for any program offered by the department. Crystal Springs hosted its 30th anniversary this past year and brought in $1.3 million in revenue. And then East Brunswick day camps were also very popular, bringing in $1.7 million in revenue and due in part to a 5% increase in enrollment, all while our youth council logged in over 8,800 community service hours. As for programs, East Brunswick Day, Winter Wonderland, Mr. Ray's Concert, Fishing Derby, National Hot Dog Day, Beauty and the Beats Children's Concert, Family Music Night, and so many others, and include supporting outside events such as Diwali, Holi, the East Brunswick Bear Crawl, Harvest Fest, and many more. Over the year, the department was involved in 40 special events and over 350 recreational programs. My list was just the tip of the iceberg. In total, the department revenue last year was just under $3 million, up $300,000 from the year before, and we have a very robust schedule for 2025. So get your app. As for planning and engineering, just look at the volume of construction projects that are going on around the township. Under the leadership of Keith Kitt, the department has embarked on more projects than most residents could probably ever remember. Besides providing oversight and permitting for these large-scale projects, the staff must be available also for residential projects, small business projects, school projects, which frequently need to be done in the summer when students are not in school. Staff are also present for all applications before and during planning and zoning board meetings that are needed to approve those projects. Over the past year, the department managed and oversaw the repaving of 5.4 miles of roads, the New Brunswick Avenue project that was paid for through the New Jersey Department of Transportation Trust Fund grant, repaving of the portion or that segment of Tice's Lane that was ignored by Hidden Oaks, the developer who's actually responsible for that portion. They paved and put in 3.2 miles of new township bike lanes. There were new traffic lights at the intersection of Fern and Cranberry, Hardenberg and Fresh Ponds, and Hardenberg and Riva. The department, working in conjunction with Parks and Rec, helped to design, develop the bid specs, award, and oversee the East Brunswick Municipal Ice Rinks and Cricket Field. They also worked with the DPW department and the New Jersey DOT on several long overdue water main projects, which includes the work on Route 18, Westwood Road, Bennington Court, and Troy Court. And last year, the department collected $2.7 million in permit fees and issued 2,615 certificates of occupancy. In 2025, expect more repair work and road work that's going to be done. We've set aside about $3 million towards these needed repairs. We've also been informed that the township was awarded another DOT Transportation Trust Fund grant for $369,000 to repair and repave Village Drive. Despite the small staff, I continue to hear praise from residents, business owners, and developers regarding the professionalism, knowledge, and timeliness of our team in the planning and engineering department. And believe me, that is not always the case throughout the state. So kudos to that department. For Public Works and the water and sewer utility, Dan Losick does double duty by providing directorship over both DPW and the water and sewer utility. And most of us tend to forget how important these services are until we have to do without them. Whether it's road repair, stormwater drains, water and sewer service, leaves, which is clearly a matter of life and death if you base that on the number of social media posts, second only to garbage. This is what we mean by basic services. Most notably over the past year was the implementation of the new refuse and recycling contract. And despite all the fear and anxiety, we have a much smoother operation with very few missed pickups and a cleaner community. Bulk pickup has kept up with demand, just simply requires scheduling. The recycling center is constantly busy and a huge asset to our residents. Leaves, both loose and bagged, despite all the howling, were picked up without much of a hiccup. Many of our residents told us how excited their younger children were just watching the new automated trucks. The department continues to maintain our fleet of vehicles, maintains and renovates our township buildings, installed 1,400 tons of asphalt for road repairs, crack sealed 14 miles of roads, and done so in conjunction with our other departments. Besides maintaining miles of water lines, the water utility also fixed 44 water main breaks in 2024, replaced lead service lines, and the utility worked with the state to complete the New Jersey DOT Route 18 water main replacement project, which is only part of the Route 18 repair project that's being done. The sewer utility cleaned 44 miles of sewer mains and maintains a system that is quite old and is in need of inspection and repair, and sometimes even replacement. Part of that oversight included the installation of a emission monitoring system for all sewer pump stations. And finally, the department worked with planning and engineering to design renovations to the Kingswood pump station, which will enable conversion of the septic system at the Community Arts Center to city sewer. Department of Aging. Well, Danielle McCallie, the director of the department, and her staff have seen the senior center become one of the most active in the state. Last year, the average daily census rose to 135 members being in the center per day. There were 317 new members, resulting in a census that is the highest in the census in the center's history. There were 9,000 bus rides for shopping and banking and pharmacy, and lunch and other fun activities. The department provided 9,693 home-delivered meals to homebound older adults. There were over 1,100 participants in support groups, and the staff provided 355 SHIP or Medicare counseling sessions and over 1,200 rides for medical appointments. That's pretty impressive. Our seniors participated in many programs. They clocked in 890 members per month for programs that range from educational to the arts to fitness and more. And the Senior Center will be celebrating its 50th anniversary this May, so look out for some very exciting programming around that milestone.
On your app.
Our East Brunswick Public Library. Well, this past year, the library welcomed a new library director in Karen Parry. But the truth is, Karen is not new at all, and she's been a decades-long member of our senior staff and the architect of our highly acclaimed Just for the Health of It literacy program. In 2024, the public library was used by nearly 1.2 million residents, accessing anything from books to magazines, databases, ebooks, audiobooks, streaming services, DVDs, games, the health portal, equipment, many other services. The library held over 350 programs for children, teens, adults, and seniors. One of the core goals of the library board this past year was to put accessibility and inclusivity at the heart of everything that they do. To that end, the library created and filled a position called an accessibility librarian to develop specialized programs and services to address the needs of vulnerable populations. The library can now say that it offers sensory-friendly browsing for children with autism, sensory bags to borrow from the library, dyslexic-friendly font reading lists, barred talking books for those who are visually impaired, color-corrective glasses for those with color blindness, and many other initiatives consistent with the township's decades-long commitment to support those in the neurodivergent community. Clearly, the East Brunswick Public Library's commitment to excellence has been recognized outside of East Brunswick, as our library was selected this past year as one of 15 national finalists for the 2024 National Medal for Museum and Library Service. This nomination, which was made by Senator Cory Booker, was in recognition of our Just for the Health of It program. And while we did not get selected as the final recipient, this level of national recognition has only served to make us work even harder as a community. EBTV was under the leadership of Anthony Pagliocco and his favorite partner and constant partner, Brian Belzer. East Brunswick TV has become the township's marketing firm. You didn't get the reference? Okay. Together with their team, the studio produced over 300 videos this past year. They cover everything from the council meetings to high school sporting events to community events and celebrations. Their videos have garnered over 330,000 views for over 12,000 hours of viewing time. Social media has become the most convenient way to reach outside of the 23 square miles of East Brunswick. EBTV relied on this media. They had 344,000 views on Facebook and 45,000 views on its Instagram pages. For 2025, it's shaping up to be a great year as we're looking for more innovative ways of promoting the township to an even wider audience. IT. Now, I know that people sometimes say that when I start talking in medical terms, that they think that I'm speaking another language. It's probably true. When I got the list of the accomplishments of our IT department under the leadership of Adele Youssef, I could now understand what everybody was saying about me, because I didn't understand a blessed thing that was on that list. But this critical department is the connective tissue that allows all our departments to operate in a safe, efficient, and secure manner. Over the past year, much of our work continues to be focused on securing our information, data, personal information, and system integrity. Additionally, the department has helped with outfitting and renovating buildings and rooms that were upgraded. They upgraded to Windows 11, increased card access at most of our buildings, upgraded the pump station IT footprints, and redesigned Civic Plus East Brunswick website. Now, as I said in my acceptance speech after being sworn in for my third term as mayor, we have so much to look forward to in the year ahead. And while most of this is exciting and has drawn attention throughout the state, we do need to be aware of some objects that can pose some headwind. Namely, the township has been notified officially by the state and the county that we are long overdue for a revaluation. This has not been done in over 40 years. With present assessed values at approximately 20% of true value, we will need to start this process. Now, there is no need to panic, as there are only 2 firms in the state that do revaluations, and the time frame for one to provide an estimate, be accepted by resolution, start the reevaluations, do the whole reevaluation process, and then submit their findings for inclusion in your assessment could still take several years. But the clock has started. The fourth round of affordable housing obligations for the years 2025 to 2035 were provided to all townships at the end of last year. The fair share obligation given to East Brunswick for this period is 314 units, no different than the last 10-year period. And while the township has filed an objection to the methodology used to determine this number, it is unlikely that such an objection will result in anything other than a possible reduction from that number. It will not go down to zero. And finally, much has been said about the relationship between the Board of Education and the township. I am keenly aware that the reputation of East Brunswick and the main reason that folks move to this township is the quality of our public education. The council and I want nothing more than to see that reputation grow, and we want to be a partner in anything that improves the rich experience of our students and the experience that they receive in our public schools. To achieve these results, it is imperative that we all operate from the same set of facts, that relevant information be made open and available to the public, that the Board of Education ask, demand, and make public answers to questions that can help the district move forward, and most importantly, hold the administration to the highest standards. This means determining goals and objectives that target the highest standards, insist on fiscal responsibility, and foster a spirit of cooperation. The township stands ready to assist the board in meeting those obligations. As I take the plane back up to 40,000 feet and look at the township from the vantage point of knowing where we've been and knowing where we are and having a good sense of where we're headed, I'm happy to say that the state of the township is strong, resilient, and focused. We are simultaneously diverse and unified. We are a big township, yet a collection of multiple small communities, each with its own character and charm. And finally, we are a collective body that's appreciative of the past, yet excited for what the future holds. So Happy New Year. May each of you have a year that brings peace, health, and good fortune. God bless our residents, to all those who serve our township, our men and women in the armed forces, and the United States of America. Thank you.
We're going to take a 2 to 3 minute recess so that if you don't want to hang around for the rest of the exciting business we're going to be dealing with, you can skedaddle and get home at an early date. 2 to 3 minutes. We're back. We're live. Oh, can't be live. Anthony, are we live? Yeah, we're good. We're back in session, Mayor. You didn't hear me.
Catch on.
Add on resolution 93.
You can do the ordinance first? Yeah, I got that.
Got that?
I'll read it by title.
Yeah.
And you give an explanation. Sure.
Okay, we're back. Council, you have a second reading for ordinance 25-01. Township Clerk, please read.
Resolution authorizing budget transfers in accordance with NJSA 48:4-59.
Motion adopt.
Second.
Second.
I'll now open this matter to the public. Close the public.
I apologize. I read the wrong thing.
Let's go back then.
I apologize.
Council, ordinance 2501.
An ord-
Township Clerk, please read.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit and to establish a cap bank in accordance with NJSA 48:4-45.14 for calendar year 2025.
Motion to approve this?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Just
I'm s-
for clarification, this is just a housekeeping
Yep.
item that we do
Every year.
I'll now open this matter to, we got a second, right?
The hall? Yes, second by the hall.
I'll now open this matter to the public. Seeing no one from the public, close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Let's move on to our report section of the meeting, and traditionally, normally I call on Mayor Cohen to give us a report on the state of the weekly township. Is there a need, Mayor?
I think I said enough.
Our business administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Well, I'd like to thank the staff along with what the mayor said. They're a beautiful group of people to work with. And it reminds, after the mayor read the whole speech, and I had the pleasure of getting it early, it reminds me of a line from Forrest Gump, which I watched over Christmas. He's running, and he's in California. He's been running for a year. And after I saw that, I said, I'm kind of tired. I think I want to go home. That's the amount of work that our staff did. They're a tremendous group of people. They're out there in the snow, the rain, fixing water mains and pipes. And this starts with everything the mayor talked about, from the finance department and Jennifer and her team hiring people and everything. They're just really a terrific group of people. And if you have a chance and you see them around, just thank them for all they do. I often do, but they really, really feel special when a resident says to them, thank you for getting my water working again, and thank you for snow plowing. We had a lot of great comments in the last storm. They're just really a great group of people. So hats off to them, and thank the mayor and the council for always supporting us. We're really blessed to have them on our team. So in line with that, earlier this week, or last week, I had a call, an emergency for a repair of a water main break that occurred on Guernsey and Riders. The reason why we called it is the staff had worked over the mandatory amount of time that day, which means they were working in between 14 and 16 hours straight. It will not put themselves in jeopardy. So we declared the emergency, and we had BlackRock come in and finish that repair. That's why water service was cut down for a couple hours. We were fortunate BlackRock was in Milltown fixing a repair there. I notified the council via text that I was doing that, and I finished writing the certification today, and it will be on the next council agenda, which is required by statute. I just wanted to go over two items also that are on the agenda. Resolution 2571. This is a new type of thing that's been going on throughout many communities, is when we do a PO and we send it to the vendor for their signatures, a lot of times we never get them back. And mainly these are very large firms. These are the FedExes, the Jersey Central Power and Lights, the Amazons and stuff like that. So the law now allows us to, for these particular companies, we certify that we received the service. One is street lighting. Well, we know we received the service. You know, the lights are on our roadways. But First Energy is a huge corporation, and we send it to some place, and we never seem to get it back. Then all of a sudden, I get a call from them saying, oh, you know, you're in arrears. Well, wait a minute. I've sent, you know, the declaration of certification. This enables us to just pay them because we know we received the payment. If Adele calls, get computer equipment from SHI International, a huge corporation. Same thing would occur there, Verizon, telecom companies. So this is no way skirting the purchasing laws. It's just a matter of, with these large corporations, there's nobody there to sign them. And we're waiting for them to come back, and it's a problem all over the state, and the legislature saw it in the code to allow for us to pay them. So that's what we're asking to do. We're always looking to streamline the process. The only other thing I'd want to note is on Resolution 25-75, it's a grant application is for a maximum, not a minimum reimbursement. It's a maximum reimbursement of $1,200. It's correct in the resolution, just not on the agenda. I just wanted to make note of that. So, Madam Clerk, if you would remedy that, thank you. That's all this evening, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Criscuolo. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
There's one item, there's a new resolution that's being added to the agenda. It's resolution number 25-93 regarding the emergency bus contract. I'll provide my comments after Ms. Lawful reads the title later on in the meeting.
Okay. And council on boards, any boards or commission reports? Councilwoman Zambicki.
Thank you. I do have a report for the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. One thing I do want to talk about, we have an ordinance coming up, Ordinance 2502, that we'll be voting on tonight, and I highly encourage all of our council members to support that. This is dealing with the increase, or not necessarily the increase, but the approval of fees for this coming year. And I know Mike Reisner and his department really spent a lot of time going through that, trying to keep everything affordable as it could possibly be. And then the Rec and Parks Advisory Board spent several hours going through each and every one of those, looking to see what we thought we could change, or if there's anything that could, make it slightly different. And I am very proud to say that I think that we've done an excellent job. And one of the greatest highlights is adding of new programming. Something as simple as adding just an extra hour before camp or an extra hour after camp that parents can now have an option of doing. So we added programming as well. So that's wonderful. So I wanted to point that out. And then just a couple things. Of course, the mayor mentioned a million of them in his address, but a couple things. Looking at renovating the Country Lane Park via a grant. The Daisy Kitchen is also looking to be renovated, also under a grant. And I don't think that people realize this, but by the end of December, we replaced 100 trees in our community. And next year, they're looking to do about 200. And one of the big issues is getting rid of the ash trees, which draw, we have major issues with that, which drawing, the different bugs and whatnot. The Fodor Farm, that is something we're looking at, is mapping a walkable area through that farm. There's some beautiful property there. So that is something that's being worked at. Also replacing the filtration system at Crystal Springs, not a very sexy thing, but a very important thing for sure. And then we also had the candlelight concert Saturday night, which was a huge success. And in the library, they celebrated last Saturday, the Saturday prior to this one, the Year of the Snake, and that was also a wonderful success. So that's my report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Especially with regard to the Fodor Farm. When I first started teaching here in East Brunswick, I worked with Barbara Fodor, who inherited the farm from her parents. And then when Barbara passed, there was just a hiatus of nothing. And hearing this for the first time, it rang a chord with me that she's probably saying right now, oh, what a good idea.
Yeah,
Keep it up.
exactly, right?
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. And let me come back to Ms. Lawful for a report.
Yes.
Did I forget to mention you? Again, for the 13th time? Anyway,
Thank you,
report from
Council
our
President.
Township Clerk.
So notices for the renewal of animal licenses went out on January 2nd. If you have not done so, please renew your animal license at your earliest convenience. If you did not receive a renewal notice, please be advised that we had a glitch in our system that randomly caused certain licenses to not generate a renewal notice. We do apologize for that inconvenience. However, you are still required to renew your animal license even if you did not receive your notice. And you can certainly do so by coming into the municipal building, to the clerk's office, to renew your animal's license. You will get your license and tag on the spot. If you're unable to come in person, please feel free to mail us your renewal payment with a note stating the name of your pet, the name of its owner, and your address. We'll process your license and submit your license and tag by mail. We will be mailing out a second reminder notice sometime next week, so you can certainly look out for that. On Wednesday, February 12th, the township will be hosting a free rabies clinic at the Community Arts Center. So if your animal needs to be revaccinated or so, please come to the free rabies clinic. It will be from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. You will be able to get your animal vaccinated for free, no cost to you whatsoever, and you can also renew your animal's license at the clinic as well. So we certainly hope to see you there. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. I'll now open the meeting for public comment. Township Clerk, would you please read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. I'll open a public portion up now. Does anyone wish to address the council president? Please.
Naval Tufel, Tall Oaks Drive, East Brunswick. So I have been coming here for last many meetings, asking this township to call for the ceasefire. It finally happened last week, although even after that ceasefire, a lot of Palestinians were killed by Israel, and it's all over the media. I don't know if you guys are aware, but at least it's a so-called ceasefire. So it's such a shame that you guys, although abide by law by saying that, oh, we do not want to, say anything about the international issue, but moral-wise, morality-wise, you guys literally failed that you did not even bring yourself to say that ceasefire. So it's a shame. Eventually things happen with or without you. So this thing happened without you, but we will remember that this council did not say even the word ceasefire. Now, the other important thing is I'm just shocked at what this mayor has said about, can I pass some comment?
You have 5 minutes. The
Okay.
microphone is yours, yes.
Sure. So this high school will have some agreement with an Israeli city high school because we have sister city agreement. It's a shameful thing. These people, Israelis, are literally war criminals. They are child killers. They are, ICC has called them that they are committing genocide. And the Israeli society, the whole society believes in killing people. So I don't know how East Brunswick children have the same level of humanity or morality with those people. It will be very, very risky for our children to even talk to these people out there because they are not in the right mindset because they are committing a genocide. It is literally a moral test for this administration at this point to do the right thing. And Mr. McAvoy, as per my investigation online, administrations in the past, they have forced mayors to end sisterhood city agreements if they think it's the right thing to do. So you have the power. It's just about using your power at the right time. And this administration is not going to stay forever. In next election, maybe you guys will be replaced by someone else. So sisterhood city will break because I'm not leaving this town and my children are not leaving this town. So I will make sure, even if not by this administration, by the next administration, and hopefully we have people who put their moral values above their own ethnicities and religion, it will break. So why don't it can be done by you? The reason why I say that we should break the Sisterhood City Agreement, there are multiple reports from mainstream media as well as independent media that Israel tests its lethal and new weapons on people in Palestine. They are testing their weapon on people, on civilian, more than 50% of who are children. And they use that, and then they use those reports to sell that technology to dictators around the world. There are numerous reports of bombs and weapons used by Israel in this most recent genocide that have never seen before, like new weapons. They're testing new weapon on children. Last week, just before the ceasefire, I saw footage from a Palestinian reporter showing rescue workers trying to take out a 3-year-old I have a 3-year-old boy. It breaks my heart. Who was fully under the rubble, and then a small hand was coming out with small voice for help, and then the head and mouth came out, full of, his whole body was trembling, and then we later found out that his whole family was martyred by Israeli forces. And can you imagine your 3-year-old child coming out of rubble, like cement rubble on that child? It's done by Israel. And that Sisterhood City, we have it shameful. Then Israel is the only only country in the world where Palestinian children, I can't even see, where Palestinian children are detained under a military court. As per Time magazine, an estimated 10,000 Palestinian children have been held in military detention over the past 20 years. The youngest child who was released by Israel during this so-called ceasefire last week was Ahmed, 14-year-old boy, and his crime was throwing stones in occupied settlements which are considered illegal under international law. And just one last thing. According to CNN and Washington
That is
Post,
5 minutes, but finish.
I will just finish this. When Israel besieged a hospital, and this is the most important thing that I want to tell you, and as a parent, I want you guys to feel it. Israel besieged a hospital in Gaza. There were 4 infants hooked to NICU equipment, and they could not be removed. So the hospital director reached out to the commander of Israeli forces, who said that they will move these children to Israeli hospital. After 3 to 4 weeks, one Palestinian journalist who was able to sneak back into that hospital found those children dead, their bodies being eaten by maggots and worms, and he took the videos and he sent it to CNN and Washington Post.
Thank you.
Can you please?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the Council President? Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Henna, Main Street, Old Stage, Mason Avenue. I want to start by reflecting on something very pertinent that Ms. Zimbicki, you mentioned in the previous council meeting. She said about you, Mr. McAvoy, that a leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. The woman you quoted, Ms. Zimbicki, was the wife of a president who saw the real face of the apartheid Israeli colonial project. I wholeheartedly agree, Mr. McAvoy, that of all the councilwomen and men, you are the one that can guide us to stand on the right side of history and adopt a ceasefire resolution, as well as dismantle sister city ties with the Israeli city that Mayor Cohen just mentioned. As Rabbi Larry urged us all at the previous council meeting, and as you all swore in the oaths that you took upon being reinstated, justice we shall pursue. No town is too small to stand up against the genocide that is taking place with our tax dollars. No council too negligible to resolve that we will take action against internationally wanted war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu should he enter these borders. You may wonder at the significance of calling for a ceasefire now, since mainstream propaganda media is telling you that a ceasefire is in place. But let the reality that the president of this country just restored the sale of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel help you visualize exactly what a ceasefire means and has always meant for the state of Israel since at least 1948. I ask the council then, how can we as seekers of justice continue to use our precious funds to retain a sister city tie in a city located in a state that has been found to be committing, by all major human rights organizations, to be committing a genocide? Especially today, on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, let us remember once again that those in power do not always have the interests of the people in mind. In a time when billionaires can get behind the US presidential seal and perform a Nazi salute, in a time when our rulers can break into schools and remove children, tearing them apart from their families, in a time when those same rulers can prevent indigenous people from returning to what remains of their homes in Gaza, just so those rulers can take their land, I trust that you, Mr. McAvoy, can lead us to that stance of justice that Rabbi Larry insisted was most urgent at this time in history. While we may not be able to stop our taxes from funding this genocide, I trust that under your leadership, Mr. McAvoy, our children and children across the globe, including children in occupied Palestine, will be able to live with dignity. I implore you and the council to let justice prevail. Let us in our beloved East Brunswick stand firm against the systems of white supremacy and oppression that value the lives of some and not of others. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President, please?
Good evening, council members. My name is Isra, and I live on Central Avenue. I stand before you tonight not just as a resident of this country, a citizen in this country, but as someone who believes deeply in the values of justice, equality, and human rights, value that I know this council strives to uphold. Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day, a solemn occasion to reflect on one of history's darkest chapters. It's a day when we collectively vow, never again. We remember the lives lost, the horrors endured, and the devastating consequences of silence in the face of injustice. This day is a powerful reminder that turning a blind eye to oppression allows it to persist. I raise this because our city has a sister city agreement with Yavne, an Israeli city tied to a government that has been repeatedly documented committing war crimes and violating international law. From the illegal occupation of Palestinian territories to the expansion of settlements and the disproportionate use of force against civilians, these actions have been condemned by Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the United Nations. This is not about politics, it's about humanity. On this day of remembrance, we must ask ourselves, are we truly honoring the lessons of history if we remain silent about the suffering of others? By maintaining this sister city agreement, we risk endorsing actions that echo the systemic injustices we vow to oppose. Many in our community feel deeply hurt by this agreement. It contradicts the values we hold dear and undermines our commitment to justice. Revoking it would send a clear message. Our city stands against oppression in all its forms, and we will not allow partnerships to diminish our principles. Cities around the world have already taken similar steps, severing ties with institutions linked to governments that violate human rights. They have shown that local leaders can take bold stands that ripple far beyond their borders. We have the opportunity to do the same tonight. I urge you to review and revoke the sister city agreement with Yavne. On this day of reflection and remembrance, let us reaffirm our commitment to justice, dignity, and the promise of never again. Let us be a city that leads with courage and stands firmly on the right side of history. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your willingness to consider this important matter. Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President? Mr. Ingrasani, please.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, Town Council. In front of me, I have my electric and gas bill recently, and I noticed that these delivery charges almost more than the electric bill. I mean, I never seen a truck in front of my house deliver any electric or gas. So to me, that's an insult. Charge what you got, forget about the delivery charges, and it's just, and they're gonna raise the rates next month, PSE&G, to change all the transmission lines, and we're supposed to get a significant increase. When's it gonna stop? I mean, when they have a business, they allow for this to be fixed. And it's not being fixed, this is all money, right? The other thing I had was, recently got my water bill, and according to the last reading, I used 78,000 gallons of water. I can't see that in the wintertime. So is it possible that I could get, check on the meter? Because since they replaced the remote meter, I'm getting high bills. Before that was normal. I used to allow maybe $100 a month. Now it's like I have to allow $200 a month for water and sewer. And I did stop by Comcast today about my bill because it's being increased. And that's up to me too. If I want to cut down, I could cut down. But I was thinking if we had competition with another company coming in, might help the situation. I mean, you call them up, they want to charge you for checking your system out. They used to do that. We used to pay so much a month, and they used to come in. Now everything is a charge. You don't even get movie channel no more. You got to pay for that. And it's just, everything's getting out of hand, and, you know, I just wish you could try to do something on it, and if something can be done on it. All right? And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ingrasini. Mr. Winston, please.
Thank you, Jeff Winston, 44 Fresh Ponds Road, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Council President, Vice President, Board members, Mayor. And just a quick response to a couple of things. I just want to say that by the end of the week, I'm looking forward to find out the fate of Kafir Beavis. He's the 9-month-old who was taken hostage during the terrorist attack that occurred in Israel, and just celebrated his 2nd birthday in captivity. Never had a birthday outside of captivity. So my thoughts are with him and his family. I think what we learned from that is when you do things like going into a peaceful area of a concert or a village and abduct peaceful people, a country like Israel, who's far too familiar with genocide at its purest level, has to protect, and a swift and harsh response is what occurred. That's all I have to say on that issue. Tonight, I appreciate your comments, Mayor. The state of the township makes me feel very good in my 6th decade of living in this town. And it's changed a lot, and I see the changes that you're making. I see great things with new businesses, redevelopment, the improvements, construction, ice rink, mixed-use facilities, and many other great things. You and I have had great conversations throughout the years we've known one another, and one thing I've said, which you smirk every time, is in spite of these great things that you're doing, nobody ever moved to East Brunswick to be closer to Route 18. It's been the school system that has been the draw for so many within our district. Keeping East Brunswick great is a team effort, and I'm glad you pointed that out tonight. It is vital that the Board of Education works in conjunction with the group that sits at this table. You're all elected officials to serve as the voice of the people, whether you're on the Board of Education or the council on this dais. We are counting on you. We put you all in office to work as one and to keep East Brunswick moving forward. Last March, there was an article published actually by TAP, who I see the writer is here. And in that article, the question was asked what the focus from the superintendent was going to be. And at that time, finalizing the 24-25 budget, we have a new budget coming up. The anticipation is yet another shortfall, yet I've heard nothing preemptive that is going to keep these schools heading in the right direction. He also went on to say the superintendent is going to continue to refine proposals for the new high school and extensive renovations to the existing high school facility. We've heard nothing on that subject since March of 2024. Recruiting and retaining the highest quality staff. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think we have the best teachers ever in the state of New Jersey. But the morale is not good. I run a group in East Brunswick with about 1,300 members, and within that group are many teachers who've called me privately crying and sad because the morale is so bad and they don't feel supported by the administration. But he also went on to say that he wants to position the district for the next decade while maintaining excellence in academics, athletics, and arts. Unfortunately, the numbers don't support that. The trajectory and the strength of our education is not supportive of those items that he put down as a priority. We need somebody to step up, and I'm glad you said it, Mayor. It is time to hold this Board of Education and the district accountable for making progress, reporting progress, deliverables, accountability, measurement. Enough already. $200 million of our tax dollars go to that cause. Again, Mayor and Council, I greatly appreciate your words tonight. I hope they're not just words. I hope you continue to press, bring it together, over 200 million plus the township budget, 40, am I right, somewhere, 50? Our township budget, 70? $270 million is what we've elected you to be good stewards of. I'm asking for your help. Make this board understand what's at stake. You have the assessments coming up. If our education falls apart, our property values go down. Forget about the assessment. Thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President? Please.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, Madam Vice President. It's great to be here this evening. My name is Tim Cummings, 112 Connolly Drive. I just want to echo what the business administrator and other members up here have shared about just the goodness that embodies the people that work within this town and their dedication, their commitment, and as a resident here, raising kids here who has been engaged and active in a lot of programs, I'm just really grateful to be a member of this community. And I just want to thank all of you for your hard work and the time and energy that you put into supporting a healthy and vibrant community. Someone in the community, a friend of mine once said to me, he said, when government is running well, you don't know it's there. And I think that that's sort of, a really astute way of looking at the work that you all are doing and that the teams here are doing. Time and time again, I am consistently overwhelmed and impressed by the good nature, the compassion, and the willingness to help that lives so fully here. So I'm just coming before you tonight as a grateful citizen. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. And Council, we have two resolutions that require a separate vote. Township Clerk, could you please read Resolution 24-66?
Resolution authorizing budget transfers in accordance with NJSA 48:4-59.
May I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Any council comment? Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Township Clerk, will you please read Resolution 25-67?
Resolution authorizing the Township of East Brunswick through the East Brunswick Police Department to participate in the Defense Logistics Agency Law Enforcement Support Office 1033 program to enable the East Brunswick Police Department to request and acquire excess Department of Defense equipment.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Council comment? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Township Clerk, would you please read our consent agenda statement?
Resolution 25, 2568 through Resolution 2592. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Council, do you need any resolutions separated? Councilman Wendell?
If I just wanted to mention, I was against 2573
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I credit Keith Kipp, our Director of Engineering, who renegotiated this. While it's still the same dollar value, he has included an additional scopes of work, which I feel are now,
Right.
necessary and meet this. So
Thank you, Council
I
President.
just wanted to clarify that.
Councilman Wendell, thank you. Therefore, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 2568 through 2592?
93.
So moved.
I'm sorry, we're going to include 93 in that, or that's separate? That's separate. Mr. Iacocca, right?
92,
We're through 92. So once again, may I have a resolution, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-68 through 25-92?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes, Council, we have before us 2 ordinances for introduction that will have a public hearing slated for February 10th, 2025. Township Clerk, could you read ordinance 2502?
An ordinance approving the fee schedule for the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Community Services.
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Council comment? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes, and everyone in the audience, don't think we're going through this without doing our homework. I recall Mr. Winston has the smirk on his face. He knows what I'm talking about. Mr. Lonsky in the back of the room knows what I'm talking about. If you're not really, I'm talking about me. Back in the day, and when I would come to council meetings and I hear how quickly things are going through, you're going like, that's it? That's how they do things? The amount of time that is spent going through this document with phone calls to Keith Kipp, with phone calls to Mr. Crisculo, with phone calls to Mr. Iacocca is endless. And I'm not crying about that. That's what you have elected us, Mr. Cummings has so clearly stated. We have work to do and we enjoy doing the work for the community. Having said that, Township Clerk, please read ordinance 25-03.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Article 8, titled Department of Parks and Recreation of the Township Code to change fee criteria of the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Council comments? Mayor?
Right, sorry. Just wanted to clarify why we were making that change. It's an addition of 2 members to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board with the bringing in of a ice rink or arena, essentially. I mean, that's a building maintenance of its own, which could probably be supported by a team almost as big as the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to begin with. The cricket fields, all the additional programming that the Parks and Rec Department has done. The meetings that they have are really extremely long. There's a lot that they're covering. And there's just a need at this point, looking at where we're going to expand the number of people that are on that board. Probably at some point even break out into sub-boards for particular interests. But that's the request, is to add 2 more people because their scope has gotten so much larger since it was originally put in decades ago.
Ordinance 2503, roll call, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes, and then we have Resolution 2593, which is an add-on resolution. You'll see that on the end of your agenda. Mr. Iacocca, can you clarify, please?
Can Ms. Lawful read the title, please?
Sure.
Resolution of the Township of East Brunswick authorizing the extension of term in the emergency contract by and between the Township of East Brunswick and Suburban Transit Lines doing business as Coach USA Suburban for commuter bus services pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-6.
Thank you. In October of last year, the township authorized an emergency bus contract with Suburban Transit Lines LLC to provide commuter bus services until the township can award a bid. The township went out to bid in April of 2024, and then again in November. There were no qualifying bids, so in December, the township authorized the township attorney's office to negotiate a contract with Suburban Transit Lines. Negotiations are ongoing, and there should be a resolution, a contract in the next few weeks. And the purpose of this resolution is to extend the term of the emergency bus contract from January 31st of this year through February 11th of this year.
And let's just say that negotiations are not completed. Will there be another extension?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr.
Are we,
We're close.
but are we closing ourselves with the February 11th date? Are we keeping ourselves in too tight of a territory to negotiate?
I don't think so. We're like 80 to 85% completed. Yeah.
We met Friday afternoon
That's
from
correct.
like 3:30 until 5 o'clock. Believe
Okay.
me, both parties want to get this done.
Okay.
So there's a will. We just need some data.
I made a phone call, made my phone call this afternoon to the office. Mr. Iacocca was busy, so it's funny, I got Mr. Baker on the line with me.
Yeah, he was
Mr.
on
Baker's the
committee.
former attorney who sat here for 25 years, so it was great that I had Mr. Baker for a minute, and he expressed exactly what Mr. Iacocca said. And when someone like Mr. Baker or Mayor Cohen says, "Don't worry about it, Mac," because I go by the Mac within my group, "Don't worry about it," then I don't worry about it. So thank you, Mr. Iacocca. And again, council, we'll put that on the add-on resolution in your agenda. Roll call.
Can I get a motion?
Motion
Oh,
adopted.
we didn't motion, and a second,
Second. Roll call.
please.
Councilman Bahal? Yes. Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zindicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. We'll move to the good of the cause. I have something, but unless someone wants to start us off. The New Jersey State League of Municipalities, this publication that Mayor Cohen has contributed to often, and Mayor Cohen is like fourth, fifth in line for the leadership role of taking over the governing body there, something like that. They're running a photography contest. And because we all have cameras nowadays, sometimes you take a picture and you go, oh my God, look at this. This is better than Andy Leibovitz, blah, blah, blah. The best reference I could use. Got a laughter in the back there, good. So the deadline to submit photos is February 7th. You can visit www.njlm.org/ to show off your picture of East Brunswick, which will be featured on the cover of the magazine in April. Showcase the beauty of EB, send a photo of a tourist attraction, an economic redevelopment project, city hall, a community group, or even a new project. And good luck to all, and let East Brunswick shine. And that's what I have. We have a motion to adjourn. Those in favor with an aye, signify with their ayes. The ayes have it. Good night.